Hey, welcome back. Another day, another vlog. Good to have you all back here on this Monday afternoon. What a weekend. The world is changing daily. What's happening? Want to get into it a bit. Where do I start? Rightio. My last week's adventures of trying to get the Astro didn't work. I'm going to try Tuesday night. I was looking to go into an event, a Nikon event, to do some stuff, but I'm going to try and get out Tuesday night. It's supposed to be crystal clear, not a cloud in sight. So the weather maps tell me. I'll recheck that again today. I've got some stuff to do because we've got a house open Wednesday. So yeah, fingers crossed, see how we go. But that's my current plans, try and get that out. I'm going to start on another video. I'm going to push back the Astro video until I can get something to use. I like what the video stuff I've got done for the bells, but if I just want to try and get another photo to try and this tree and fit it all in. But see how we go. Yeah, so I'll start on another video. I'll work on that tonight. I'm going to bring something else I've got forward on the list, get that going so we can ready for the midweek release as normal. Hopefully I can get something out by midweek, see how we go. It's a little bit chaotic. That the Astro one has sort of put me, well, at least I guess a week behind basically, unfortunately. So after getting sort of in front last week and getting a couple of videos out, now I'm sort of back. And I guess that's how it is. You can't have wins all the time, and I was really trying to find a way to get to it. I think I've got something there, but it's not really something I'm super excited about. So I want to go and get you a really good shot, give you one really good Astro photo, and then I can then play off that with bad versions versus a good version. So here we go. Baseball had our last game of the season, so we unfortunately lost. We lost again terribly. We up by 4 runs, and we lost in the last innings. They got like 7 runs and beat us by 3. So yeah, had all the fairy tale shots set up too. I think it was 2 runners on, 1 out. I come up, last at bat for my last game with the Braves, so that'll pretty much end my baseball career. I possibly may play 1 game in Darwin while I'm up there, but if that happens or not happens, pretty much that was my last game ever as playing social baseball. As far as I'm concerned, I'm retired. I'm done. I'm going to put, I guess, my time and efforts now more time and effort into this channel and my photography side, which I want to do, and obviously Jack as well. That's my main priority. Now I'm getting older, 45. I think that's pretty good. 40 years of baseball. I started in Darwin as a T-baller, and I've got to here. So arm is shot. I got to pitch in my last game. Ed, very happy. Ed gave me a chance to pitch, and I finally had my curveball back for a while. My arm didn't hurt. It hurts like hell today. I can get it to about there, and that's about it. Oh. And that's with a couple of Nurofen in today. So yeah, and I only threw 1 innings. So yeah, old age, that's life of a sports person. Everyone out there that's played sports understands my pain. So yeah, that was pretty much it. It's sort of, I didn't really think too much about it as sort of the end of the road. It's sort of, I'm happy, and I'd sort of, not professional, but sort of serious side of my baseball, it's sort of, I'd passed on that. I guess when I got this job in the mines, that was pretty much the end of that. I'd done, I thought pretty much most of all I was going to achieve. Got to represent my country on 4 occasions in Europe and in Japan, so that's probably my most proudest moment. I got to win a premiership as a coach, win a national championships as a player, coached my state, captained my state at under 18s. Yeah, there's not much I haven't done. I've coached junior sides to grand finals in Adelaide, so I've got a lot of history, a lot of things I'm very proud of, a lot of fantastic mates, friends and family from baseball, and I do consider them family. I've 3 different states now. I've played for 4 different clubs: Nightcliff, West Torrens, Henley Grange, and now the Braves, Melbourne Braves here in Perth. And I've got fantastic mates that I'll have for life from all of those. I've got friends in every state, and I think sport is the big thing that's been part of my life that's sort of, I guess, yeah, made me who I am. And I'm not perfect, no one is, but I think I've come out of life a little bit better from doing that sport and having to learn to be a part of a team. And it took me a long while, I guess. As a young guy, you don't really understand that side, but as an adult, I sort of learned a little bit more about having to be part of the team and that give and take and stuff. And you have to, sometimes you don't get it your way. You have to sort of suck it up so the team can be better for it. And yeah, I've got a lot of life lessons I've learned out of sport, and I do appreciate everything I've learned and all the help I've had from a lot of amazing people that I've had the privilege and honour to play with. Yeah, I think that's enough. That's about it. So that was the end. I got one hit, 1 for 4. Little shot straight up the middle. River Ribby, I'll take that. So I didn't go over, which I'm pretty happy about. I didn't jeter it. I didn't hit a home run in my last at bat or anything to win a game, but that's why I'm not jeter. Rightio, let's get some news done. That's enough about me for the day, and we'll get into it. There's a fair bit in. I'll try and push through as quickly as I can. Rightio, Sony. A couple of things from Sony, actually. We've got a new Xperia 1 Series 2 phone out. Now, before the iPhone came out, I used to have a Sony Ericsson. It was a fantastic phone. I wasn't a Nokia person. I didn't like the way they worked. I guess that's the same as I'm not an Android person now. I don't like the way they work. I'm not into that. It's all... I really, if I pick up an Android phone, I struggle to get through it, to work out how to use it. It's just not me. iPhone, I can sit there and do what I need to do. I guess it's whatever you're used to. But before that, I was a Sony, and it was a fantastic phone. I loved it. No dramas with it. Really good. They were really well, and when they combined with Ericsson, they made a fantastic phone. Now, they've sort of, last few years, they haven't really been in there, and they're coming back a little bit this year. They've got a releasing a great phone, and it's really pushing towards the camera. Now that cameras are a big thing with phones, that's what they excel in. They're number one in the mirrorless world at the moment. Probably not for much longer the way Canon's going, and Fuji, they're both smashing them out of the ballpark this year. So they probably get on the hunt. They're going to be fighting for survival on the top of the ladder there, but still there. Now their phone is pretty amazing. This one, that's the one they've announced, or the details out for it. It can do 20 frames a second with full autofocus and auto exposure in burst on a 24mm wide-angled lens. It's got RAW. It's got triple 12 megapixel cameras. The lenses are a 16, a 24, and a 70, which is really cool. They're all Zeiss lenses with Zeiss coatings, so the colors and what you get out of it should be fairly good. And definitely, for you Sony guys out there, you will appreciate having that in there, because it then should match what you're using. So if you're vlogging or doing stuff now, the ability to have this phone there that could also be a portable camera device or a backup or some sort of third external camera or whatever, that's there for you as an option. Time of flight sensor, so that's really good. That helps out with low light and a couple other features. It does have the new Snapdragon 865 5G processor in it, so that's huge. Now that's the one that's in the Samsung S20 that's killing it at the moment. That's got the 8K and all that, so there's obviously a lot of processing power in that. That's a big processor. That's going to be fantastic for the camera guys to get their stuff. It'll come out with 8GB of RAM, 256 gig of storage standard. It's got that 21:9 aspect ratio that was pretty standard. A 6.5-inch OLED display, and the battery's gone up, which was one of the biggest problems of the last one, the Series 1, and that's now a 4,000 milliamp battery. It's got IP65, 68, so that's not full waterproof. 68, I think, is the one that you can do about 30 minutes underwater. 65, so it's sort of in between maybe a shower and a quick dunk and get it out sort of a thing. So that's pretty good. Now they're also developing, well, we will just talk about, I'll check in, developing a Pro model, and that will have a better reception for 5G, so it'll be able to pick it up a bit better. And I think they're more so talking about the millimeter waves than the low band one, depending on which 5G you're talking about. And they will also have a micro HDMI output, which you then basically can use as an external monitor for a camera, or vice versa, give you a lot of option for your pro guys, or transport broadcast images and video straight to. So Sony having a bit of a push. Again, 2020, year of tech. The only thing stopping it is, we'll talk about later, we'll talk about all that in a second, but looks good. That camera at 20 frames a second is amazing with full autofocus. It's using that Sony autofocus, which is leading the way on the camera side, on the photo side. On the video, then video is probably Canon with the dual pixel autofocus, but on the actual camera side, that eye autofocus from Sony is the number one. So if that's got it in there, if you're a photographer and you're looking for something to match up your Sony stuff, then this phone, I think, would be an ideal partner to have in your kit. If you're an Android user, well, then it's basically all Android anyway, so you can go straight to that. So I think this would be definitely something to look at. I didn't see a price in there. I think it was something around, it's definitely over $1,000 US. I think it's around there, maybe about the 1,200 mark. So, but it'll be released shortly, but definitely worth checking out. While we're on Sony, they've just also released a new tough SD cards. SD cards, obviously super mega important to photographers, videographers, I should say it right, my apologies. And anyone using sort of data, it's you can get cheap ones, you can get good ones, you can get expensive, they're coming out, but they're all pretty much similar in how they've been for a long while. Now the new Sony one is a one-piece, fully molded, rigid plastic. It's a solid plastic. It doesn't have the right protection switch on it, so you can get rid of that. So that helps with the waterproof rating of IP8, which basically says you can go 1.5 meters of water for 30 minutes and have no issues. So super sealed. So that's fantastic for dust and water and all that. So that's awesome. It also has 300 megabytes write speed, so super fast, and it's got a different way. If you look on the back, all the contacts are like a solid gold inbuilt into it. They're not a cheap plastic. It's a pretty high quality SD card, and if you're someone that's a professional, a wedding photographer, punching out tons and tons of shots at high speeds, trying to get that data in there, well, something like this, it is pretty expensive. They're 100 US dollars for a 64 gig, which is probably double the normal price. So definitely in the high end, but if you're looking for something to get that reliability and to make sure you don't lose that data, well, I think this is something you need to look at, or worth having a bit of a gander at and checking it out. So yeah, they're out. I said $100, 100 US. So if you just one and you want one good one and you want to be happy with that, well then obviously this is a good one as well. Fully waterproof, all that. If you drop your camera, you're not going to lose your shots. So really cool. EcoFlow Delta, or EC Flow Delta. We've all got electric cars and everything's electric and battery powered now every day. How are we going to charge the stuff when we're out bush? One of the things with electric cars, once you go out bush and you're taking your cars off road and out to go camping and stuff, how do you get back if there's no charger there? Well, the EcoFlow Delta did a Kickstarter. It went really well. The company's now growing, and big as they have a solution. It is a little expensive, but it's something to replace your petrol generators. I've always used the little Honda 2 kVA genset. Is an amazing bit of kit, and that's super quiet, petrol and run. So this is sort of something to match up against something like that. But it's full battery, so totally quiet and super duper. Now, stats on that, it's called the 1300. It's 1400 US just for the battery power case. It's 1300 watt hours for the battery with an output of 1800 watts. So that's pretty good. 1300 watt hours, that's pretty darn cool. Now it will recharge, so if you're at home and you take it out, come back, it'll recharge to 80% in an hour. I think it's about 4 hours for a full charge at home, so that's pretty good, similar to a phone, I guess. It'll take 14 devices at once, can plug into it to take the juice out of it. If you buy the unit with the one solar panel, so this is what it's really for, is if you're going out bush, one solar panel, 15 to 30 hours, you'll fully recharge it off the one solar panel, obviously depending on sunlight. That goes up then to 1,798 just US dollars. Or you can buy 4 solar panels as a kit that comes with the unit. I think that takes it up to 85 watts. So I'm assuming it. I tried to find some info on the time specs if you buy the 4, the 3, the 2, or the 1 solar panels. I just got the 1 and the 4. Figured you're not going to go medium. You're going to go top or the bottom. Now to get the 4, it's 2,900. So basically 3,000 US bucks. So it's a fair whack of coin. That's been just under 5 grand Australian, I'd say, to get it. I don't think those so they're still a little bit higher price, but if you are sort of environmentally conscious, or you're in a place that can't use petrol, and things like this will be good on mine sites because mine sites can't have petrol. It's all diesel. We're not allowed to have any petrol on site. It's no flammable goods on site. So a battery powered unit like this, which would be good depending on how many cycles it can take before it gets burnt out. I think it's a great little idea, and I think they should probably look at other avenues as well, like pushing it down those in the areas where you can't have petrol, because petrol's still winning at the moment. I think it's getting close, but it's just a little bit the cost versus what you can get out, it's probably a little bit still high. But a nice little unit. If you do want to have a look at one, it's called, again, EcoFlow Delta 1300. Just Google that, you'll find it. They've got the whole website. They've got all the gear. You can buy extra panels or whatever you want to do. Definitely worth checking it out. We'll go to the next one. Bob Iger, head of Disney, the CEO of Disney, scheduled end of 21. He was going to basically retire, get out of the game. He'd sort of planned it in. Announced yesterday, just come out of the blue and said, I quit, I'm done. Basically, he stepped down from CEO. The guy that runs the parks division is going to take over short term. About a year and a half, he'll still be sort of involved with the business. But he's basically last thing was the Disney Channel Plus rollout. He's done that, and he's basically said, well, I'm done. I'm finished with this. He's walked away. He's had a pretty successful term. Disney's done pretty well. They've taken over the Star Wars franchise. They've got massive online presence now with the Disney Channel, and that's now booming. Got some huge film rights, so he's doing very well. So probably at the top of his level. I think it's not a bad time, and for whatever reason, he's decided, well, this is it. I'm going to step down, hand over the reins, and just work out. He'll still be involved for the next year and a half, but then he'll be out of the business. Right now, COVID, a bit of an update on the COVID. We all know about what's happening with the COVID. You see it on the news. Look at some of the back alley stuff on it. Now, we know Australia had its first death from the COVID-19. A gentleman died in Perth, actually, in the hospital in Perth. He was from that boat in Japan. He was one of the infected from there that got flown out. He's passed away, poor fella. I think it's 78. So again, the elderly and the young are the ones that are really, really concerned about. So that hasn't gone well. It's everywhere. There was a Queensland case where, again, like the California case, a person hadn't been involved or gone or done anything, somehow got it. So it doesn't matter where you live, what country you are, it's in your country. It's already too late. It's got past all the restrictions. Those days are over. We've got to look at how to, thing. And the good news is there's a company called Moderna who's got a vaccine in the process. They've sent the bits and pieces of that over to the US government. It's going to go, it's ready for human trials, they reckon. They're looking at doing that maybe end of this month. It'll go in for human trials. That takes a while. July, August, they should roughly know the results of that to see if it's okay, and then it's obviously going to go into manufacture to then get it out to everyone. It's a cheap, low cost, they're saying it should be cheap and low cost and able to get it out, and it should be fairly good and pretty much shut it down, but it's still a bit of time frame. So we're probably still looking middle to end of the year before it can really be under control, or you consider yourself safe. So it'd be interesting to see how they go, because again today the Australian stock market took another tumble of, I think 44 billion was wiped off the stock market value today. The US stock market will open tomorrow. Obviously they had one of the worst week in history ever for the US stock market last week because of this. Hopefully the news of this pending virus or vaccine going to human trials is enough to abate that drop off and start turning the markets around and give people a little bit of positivity about moving forward and getting up. I guarantee you, if whatever the government, whatever needs to happen to get this thing tested and correctly done, it'll be all fast-paced and pushed through. I can't imagine them holding it up for any reason, but they've still got to go through the right things. The last thing you want to do is start giving people a vaccine that gives them some other issue. So, look, fingers crossed, that's all good. The company looked like, I'd read a little bit of the article, the company seems really, really positive with it. And we've looks like we've hit the bottom, and now we're just going to slowly move our way up. So that's it, another day. A little bit of positivity on the COVID side finally. It's been a scary little bumpy ride and it's not over, but looks like we've hit the bottom and we're going back. So fingers crossed everyone. Hopefully everyone that is sick, they might be able to get onto some sort of emergency trial they might be able to do with those guys with this thing. So I'm sure they'll be looking at every sort of avenue, or you'd hope so anyway. So you never know. Anyway, that's it from me. Another day. Welcome back to another week. Hope your Monday wasn't too bad if you're in WA or you're still on holidays. It's a long weekend for Labor Day over here, apparently. We don't get public holidays in mining, so it's a bit of a strange one for me. Rest of you guys in the rest of Australia, have a fantastic day. We will see you all again tomorrow for Tuesday, the first day for WA people for the week and the second day for everyone else. Okie dokie. Rightio, wherever you're coming, we're going, or heading home in the rush hour traffic. We'll see you soon. Stay safe, and I'll catch you tomorrow. Why not? Bye. Peace.